The emergency klaxons blared through the corridors of the stellar compass, a joint species research vessel exploring the outer rim of the Andromeda sector. Dr. Ziltharian, the ship's chief medical officer and a member of the highly advanced Vexorian race, sprinted toward the human quarters with a pressurized injector clutched in his three-fingered hand. His chitinous exoskeleton clacked against the metal floor as his compound eyes fixed on the door ahead. "Out of the way," he shrieked at a passing crew member, his translator converting his clicks into standard galactic. Behind him, two medical assistants struggled to keep pace, carrying emergency life support equipment. The situation was dire. A code black. The worst-case scenario aboard any multi-species vessel, potential poisoning of a crew member. And not just any crew member, but one of the humans. Those fragile, water-filled bags of organic matter that somehow, inexplicably, had clawed their way into the galactic community despite having no natural armor, no venom sacs, no telepathic abilities, and an alarming tendency to die from the most mundane causes. Ziltharian had seen the security footage. The human-designated Susan had procured several specimens of Mortis pomum, death apples as they were colloquially known, from the Botanical Research Lab. The fruit was native to Zarkon 7, a death world so hostile that even the plants had evolved to kill anything foolish enough to touch them. A single bite contained enough cyanogenic glycosides to drop a Thoraxian battle beast in under 30 seconds, and the human had eaten 3. The door to the human quarters hissed open. Ziltharian burst inside, injector raised, ready to administer the universal detoxification serum that had cost the Galactic Medical Consortium 17 years and 4 trillion credits to develop. "Susan, don't move! I have the antidote!" he bellowed. The scene before him made his secondary heart skip a beat. Susan sat cross-legged on her bunk, her dark hair tied back in what humans called a ponytail, wearing casual off-duty clothing. In one hand she held a half-eaten death apple, its distinctive crimson skin glistening with juice. In her other hand, she held a datapad displaying what appeared to be a human entertainment program. She looked up at the medical team with an expression of mild confusion. "Antidote for what?" she asked, taking another crunching bite of the fruit. Ziltharian's mandibles fell open in shock. The death apple. You've consumed at least 3 specimens of Mortis pomum. The toxin should have— Oh, these? Susan held up the fruit, examining it with casual interest. "Yeah, they're pretty good. Taste kind of like a cross between an apple and a cherry. A bit tart, but I like tart." She took another bite to emphasize her point. The medical assistants stood frozen in the doorway, their equipment hanging uselessly in their appendages. One of them, a young crystalline named Jara, began to emit a high-pitched frequency that indicated extreme distress. But that's impossible," Ziltharian stammered, his translator struggling to convey the appropriate level of disbelief. "The cyanogenic compounds alone should have shut down your respiratory system. The alkaloids should have caused immediate neural collapse. The phenolic acids should have dissolved your digestive tract from the inside out." Susan shrugged and reached for another death apple from a small pile on her desk. "I mean, I felt a little tingly after the first one, but I figured that was just because it was cold from the storage unit." "Tingly?" Ziltharian's voice rose an octave. "Tingly?" At that moment, Lucas, the other human assigned to the stellar compass, emerged from the bathroom, drying his hair with a towel. He noticed the assembled medical team and gave them a friendly wave. "Oh, hey, Doc, what's going on? Someone sick?" "Your companion has ingested 3 death apples." Ziltharian gestured wildly at Susan. "She should be dead 17 times over." Lucas glanced at Susan, then at the fruit in her hand and shrugged. "Oh yeah, Susan mentioned those earlier. She said they reminded her of cherry pits." "Cherry pits?" Ziltharian's translator struggled with the unfamiliar term. "Yeah, you know, the seeds inside cherries. Earth fruit. They've got cyanide in them too," Lucas explained casually, as if discussing the weather. "We used to eat around them as kids, but some people accidentally swallow them all the time. You'd need to eat like a whole cup of crushed cherry pits to get seriously sick." Ziltharian felt his world tilting. "You're telling me that your homeworld's fruit contains cyanide? The same compound we use in industrial mining to dissolve titanium alloys." "Well, yeah, in small amounts," Susan chimed in, finishing her 4th death apple and tossing the core into the recycling chute. "Apples, peaches, apricots, almonds, tons of earth plants have cyanogenic compounds. Our bodies just break them down. Learn to deal with it over millions of years of evolution, I guess." She paused, noticing the way the medical team stared at her. Is this not normal? For other species, I mean. Siltharion slowly lowered the injector, his mind reeling. He had spent 43 years studying xenobiology. He held 17 advanced degrees from the most prestigious medical institutions in the galaxy. He had personally treated over 60 different species for everything from plasma burns to quantum entanglement syndrome. And yet, somehow the humans continued to baffle him. Let me understand this correctly, he said slowly, carefully. Your species evolved on a planet where the very fruit you eat contains deadly poison, and your bodies simply adapted to neutralize it? Pretty much, Lucas confirmed. He grabbed an apple from Susan's pile, a regular one from Earth's hydroponics bay, and bit into it. We're actually pretty good at dealing with toxins. Alcohol, caffeine, capsaicin, theobromine. Jara interjected, her crystalline structure flickering with alarm. That's a cardiac stimulant. It's lethal to most species. Yeah, chocolate, Susan said brightly. It's delicious. Want to try some? No! The entire medical team shouted in unison. Siltharion rubbed his primary eyes with his forearms, suddenly feeling very tired. Please, for the sake of my cardiovascular system and my professional reputation, stop eating unknown substances from the research lab. Susan had the grace to look slightly sheepish. Sorry, Doc. I just saw them in the lab and thought they looked tasty. Didn't mean to cause a panic. A panic? Siltharion's voice cracked. I thought I was about to watch you die. I called in emergency favors from 3 different star systems to synthesize that antidote. I really am sorry, Susan said sincerely. But hey, at least now you know humans can eat death apples. That's valuable scientific data, right? As the medical team filed out of the quarters, Siltharion made a mental note to update the human section of the Galactic Medical Database. Again. For the 17th time this month. Behind him, he heard Susan offer Lucas a death apple. Want one? They're actually pretty refreshing. Sure, why not? Siltharion's mandibles twitched. Sometimes, he reflected, the universe had a terrible sense of humor.